Hey everyone, I'm Nina Zeta with Sidewalker Daily, and in today's video, I want to talk about Instagram content creators. Now, I did a video that talked about the differences between content creators and influencers that you guys can watch here. But this video is really more about my Instagram content creators, giving them some general advice and helping them with some things that I think could really transform their business. Now, I think one thing I often get asked, and I'll just quickly repeat here, even though it's mostly in the other video, but super quickly, is like, to me, the content creator is really like the artist, right? They're the person that's pushing themselves creatively. They're the person that's coming up with like really cool new content. And on Instagram, it's obviously different than like content for a blog writer, right? Or video. Like Instagram content is very specific to the Instagram platform. It has a certain type of look. Whether it be a 30-second Instagram reel or a story or photos, videos, IGTV, there's all different types of content that live within the Instagram platform. And I think that one of the big things is because the content creator is technically like the artist, probably the biggest thing that you guys need to really do is focus on your craft. You see, the difference between you and the influencer is that the influencer is really, really busting and working hard on growth, engagement, and getting people to kind of love them as a person, as a figure, because the influencer is kind of like media, right? Their distribution, their numbers, their metric, their exposure. Whereas the content creator, while they may have influence and while the influencer may have really great content skills, if you're positioning yourself on like Instagram as a content creator, you're really trying to position yourself as someone who can create killer content. And that's why focusing on your craft and pushing yourself creatively is so important. Now, many of you guys know, if you're been watching our channel for a while, we work with brands on their influencer marketing. We also work with content creators and influencers on helping them pitch to brands, on helping them just be, building up their business strategies and all that good stuff. So I work with tons of content creators daily through my, one-on-one coaching or group coaching, or in just different types of ways when I'm putting them on jobs for my brand clients, right? And the thing about this is the content creator is so valuable to brands because you guys are able to create such high quality content that brands really, really want for their own channels, right? So working with people that are, Instagram content creators is a huge win for people on the brand side because you guys get what works well on Instagram, right? You guys get it. So we're like, we want to work with you because you know how to make a really cool reel or a slideshow, or you can make like an impressive, take a really beautiful, impressive photo in a way that like will do well on Instagram, right? So that's why we kind of come to you. So that's why it's so important as a content creator for you to really focus on your craft. I want you to push yourselves. I want you to push yourselves creatively, like do different things, do weird things. And when I say weird, I mean like weird, but to like an artsy creative world. And maybe it is just straight up weird, but that's the part of being a creative, right? Is letting that creativity run through you, and who knows what those end results will be. I think content creators in general, especially because they're on Instagram and it's a public platform, you're gonna have to get used to failing publicly. And what I mean by failing publicly is by putting up something and, who cares if it doesn't do well, or, trying a new trend and it fails or it bombs and it's like totally just, it's okay. You're not doing it for others. You're doing it for yourself, because what will happen is the more you get used to pushing yourself creatively, the more you increase your chances of coming up with that like killer piece of content. Maybe it's a trend that other people start to follow, or maybe it's that one really great piece of content that gets you a job with, a big brand. So again, that's why it's important to push yourselves. Now, I think a lot of content creators too, like they obviously want to grow their social channels and they want to appear and like get growth and all that good stuff that happens on Instagram. The thing is this, I think for content creators, you guys should be letting the your audience in on stories. Use stories to be yourself. Use stories so that you can show up and like just, talk to your audience, show them behind the scenes, let them know what you're up to, what you're shooting, what you're doing, what inspires you. You don't need to put that information on your feed if you don't want to. A lot of times, like people that are on the content side, they want their feeds to be like, you know, their portfolio or be like just kind of their visual representation, and they don't want to put themselves on the feed, which I get. But if you're not going to do that, then you need to show up on stories, because if you're on Instagram and you want to get hired, you still want to go to the brand and say, hey, yeah, I have an audience that, you know, really cares about me and is interested in what I do. Now, though you're not an influencer, it could still get you the job, having some sort of influence. Having some sort of influence can help you get the job versus someone who doesn't have an Instagram account, right? So being an Instagram content creator, you're basically going to the brands and saying, hey, I create killer social media style content, and the cherry on top is I have an audience that is also interested in what I do. So it's a really, really great way to pitch. Now, I mentioned briefly portfolio. Here's the thing about being a content creator, and this is what I think is probably the best bet, is if you're a content creator, you still want to have a niche, okay? Because it could be really confusing for a brand to get on your page and see your portrait work, your weddings, your food, you know, how you shoot families, how you shoot kids. It's just like a lot, right? So it's a little overwhelming. I think if you're very specialized in your content, the brand will be able to see on Instagram, like this is the, you know, your specialty. So it's like, this is the type of content that's my specialty. I still think you need a website, even if it's a landing page or a portfolio. So when you are pitching to brands, you can say, hey, while I specialize in this, I also do this, 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 and this. And here's a link to my portfolio. And the portfolio shows like your range of work, right? So that is going to show like all the different types of content that you can create, but your Instagram is very, very, very specified, because again, you want someone to land on your Instagram account and clearly know the type of content that you specialize in. So like if you are doing interior design, you know, content, but then like your page is like all over the place and has so much, the brands that you're pitching to for interior design, they just may not get it, versus if you're very, very specific. And then again, like I said, having your portfolio to supplement. Now, I do think that one of the big things too is by having that website, you're just going to the brands and saying, hey, I'm a professional. Like, yes, I'm an Instagram content creator, but I also have an entire business that I dedicate to production, to content. So it kind of just gives you a leg up in your pitching so that you're not just, you know, only on Instagram. And that goes with being on other platforms too, right? So you may be like an Instagram content creator, but you need to be up to date on industry trends. You need to be up to date on like, what's the newest, like, you know, thing, right? What are big platforms? You as a creator, right? The brands come to you because you guys are creative and artistic and, you know, just like in this creative headspace. So I want to be able to go to my content creators and be like, hey, you know, what are these AR filters? Can you make some? Or what are these like TikToks that everyone is doing with this transition? Are you able to produce that? See, it's important that not only, like I said in the beginning, you push yourself creatively, but you know the different platforms so that you can pitch to brands and get the work. Because as a content creator, you're really freelancing, right? And you're trying to get brands to book you on different gigs. Now, you may not always get those sexy brands that you want to work with, but work is work. And especially when you're starting out, you're gonna have to take what comes. Now, if you are a content creator that wants to pitch to brands and wants to be more proactive about your business and getting those leads and actually converting them into paid deals, then you're gonna wanna check out our Pitching to Brands Master Course, because this course is dedicated to the influencer and to the content creator that wants to land paid brand deals. Working with brands, pitching to brands, and not only pitching to brands, when brands come to you, converting those, you know, those inbound requests into paid deals. So I'm gonna leave more information below. You can read the testimonials. Creators are seeing massive amounts of brand deals coming their way and massive amounts of wins. So you guys can learn about all of that. And if you have any questions, you can obviously email us. Now, the last thing I wanna end on is the kind of like this friction between influencer and content creator. I know a lot of influencers are calling themselves content creators. They don't like the word influencer. They feel like there's a negative vibe for it. And then Like, I have my own opinions on that. I'm like, own it. This industry is booming. Brands may want to work with influencers and they want to work with content creators, and you can be a little bit of both. But anyways, that's for a whole other video. But what I really want to wrap up is saying is that if you're on Instagram and you're creating content specific to Instagram, then I think that what is really going to help you as a content creator is to be able to show the brands very clearly the different types of content you can make on Instagram. So if I was to hire you as an Instagram content creator, I would be really impressed if you're like, oh, here is my Reels content. Here are some examples of stories I've created for brands. Here are some, flat lay photos. Here are some still photos. Here are some, stop motion videos. Here's, again, you guys see what I'm doing, right? Just taking a bunch of different styles and showing the people on the brand side like your creative ability, especially now with Reels. This is just like taking over. So many brands want Reels. Can you be the one to provide them Reels for their page? Because remember, when you're working with a brand, chances are you're doing the content for them, right? You're creating content for the brand to use on their page. So definitely create that portfolio that shows all your work, especially so that you can use it while you are pitching. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can either leave them in the comments, message me on Instagram. I'm always on Instagram myself too. Maybe I'll send you back a voice note, and I will see you guys in the next video.